treated them just like dolls and stole their garments. They were still pleased with him and never lodged complaints against him. This attitude of the gopis is described by the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he prays, "My dear Lord Krishna, you may embrace me or trample me under your feet, or you may make me broken-hearted by never being present before me. Whatever you like, you can do because you have complete freedom to act. But in spite of all your dealings, you are my Lord eternally, and I have no other worshipable object." This is the attitude of the gopis towards Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Anyone like to continue?
May I continue, Prabhuji?
Yeah. Yes, please, Prabhuji.
So just 1 second before you start, can you hear me?
Yes. Now we can hear you, Mataji.
Yeah, so basically what they are trying to tell is, while when we read this sounds very weird, but we should also understand we are trying to relate this to ourselves and our material world. The age of Krishna when this particular pastime happened was roughly around 8 years. And also what was the idea is when these girls were like typically, early teens, and they were actually praying for Krishna to be their husband. So the whole thing is all captured in such a way that it is enacted so that they start feeling him like husband. So that's the reason actually. If you start reading, you'll understand. And and this is a wish of not Krishna. This is actually the gopis' wish. And end of the day, what they feel is irrespective of however Krishna treats them, they are absolutely happy with that because they are wholeheartedly accepting. It's like a small child, right? Of course, this example is not about the child, but generally, you see, when you carry a small child, or especially your child, you don't care if the child kicks you, if the child is 6 months old, when the child pees on you, or when the child, when it starts talking, so much of the spit falls on our face. We don't feel anything bad about it, right? So whatever way the child treats us, we relish it. It also applies to people whom we really, really love. So that's the kind of mood gopis are serving. Unfortunately, in Kali, especially, and among us, we can't understand our experiences because we are all business transaction based, right? So if someone behaves in this way, we either think there should be some benefit, or I will keep quiet only if I get the benefit. That was not the case then. Yeah, please go ahead and continue. Hare Krishna.
Can I
Hare
read,
Krishna,
Mataji?
please continue.
May I read, Mataji?
Yeah.
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Yeah, please continue, Mari.
Mataji, you continue.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me? Please read. No? Yeah.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Lord Krishna, Hare Krishna, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Lord Krishna was pleased with them. And since they all desired to have him as their husband, he told them, "My dear, well-behaved girls, I know of your desire for me and why you worship goddess Katyayani, and I completely approve of your action. Anyone whose full consciousness is always absorbed in me, even if in lust, is elevated. As a pride seed cannot fructify, so any desire in connection with my loving service cannot produce any fruitive result or as in ordinary karma." There is a statement in the Brahma Samhita, "Karmane nirdhanti kintu ta bhakti bhajam." Everyone is bound by his fruitive activities, but the devotees, because they work completely for the satisfaction of the Lord, suffer no reaction. Similarly, the gopis' attitude towards Krishna, although seemingly lusty, should not be considered to be like the lusty desire of ordinary women. The reason is explained by Krishna himself. Activities in devotional service to Krishna are transcendental to any fruitive result. Should I continue, Mataji? Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Krishna.
Should I continue?
So very clear, what I told is what they are saying. Though it might appear for us lusty because that's the way we relate. But when it comes to gopis, the thoughts, their feelings, there is no one iota of lust involved in them. So that is something which we should know. Hare Krishna, yes. Somebody can read the next para.
I'll read, Mataji. My dear gopis, shall I read, Mataji? Hello.
Yes, please go. Please go ahead, Mataji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
My dear gopis, Krishna continued, your desire to have me as your husband will be fulfilled because it is with this desire that you worship goddess Katyayani. I promise you that during the next autumn season, you shall be able to meet with me and you shall enjoy me as your husband. Later, Krishna, in the company of his cowherd boy friends, took shelter of the shade of some trees and became very happy. Thus, he addressed the inhabitants of Vrindavana, my dear Stoka Krishna, my dear Varutapa, my dear Bhadrasena, my dear Sudama, my dear Subhala, my dear Arjuna, my dear Vishala, my dear Rishabha. Just look at these most fortunate trees of Vrindavana. They have dedicated their lives to the welfare of others. Individually, they are tolerating all kinds of natural disturbances, such as hurricanes, torrents of rain, scorching heat, and piercing cold. But they are very careful to relieve our fatigue and give us shelter. My dear friends, I think they are glorified in this birth as trees. They are so careful to give shelter to others that they are like noble, highly elevated charitable men who never deny charity to one who approaches them. No one is denied shelter by these trees. They supply various kinds of facilities to human society, such as leaves, flowers, fruits, shade, roots, bark, flavor, extracts, and fuel. They are the perfect example of noble life. They are like a noble person who had sacrificed everything possible, his body, mind, activities, intelligence, and words, for the welfare of all living entities. Should I continue, Mataji? Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. I don't know, today the volume over there is very low. I'm barely able to hear you all, but I think you can hear me. So they are talking about...
Me too, Mataji, could not hear
Hare
you.
Krishna. Thank you. So they're comparing the trees to the noble person. And before they compare, really the trees in Vrindavan are considered the very sages who want to serve Krishna and Santaras. So we all have read that a lot of jnanis, right? So jnanis go and take shelter in Brahmajyoti. So these are one set of jnanis where they want to serve Krishna and Shantaras because they don't want to see any other rasa, because they also have this feeling, right? They have a feeling, oh, Krishna is so great. What is it I can do? So we have a different feeling. We still feel Krishna is great, but we also feel we are responsible to take care of Krishna, right? So that is our bhava. But here they feel, oh, Krishna is so great. What bhava? How can I even think of serving him, right? If you see other religions also, they say, why do I have to serve him food? Because he's the one who supplies food to me, which logically is right. But it's just like a child who gives a chocolate to mother, actually buys chocolate from the same parents' money, right? So, but the parents are still happy. They don't tell, hey, so you bought it out of my money. So that's the same story here with Krishna also. So that's the feeling which we can relate to. So these trees are serving, mankind without expectation, as like the noble people who actually are doing a lot of sacrifice with their body, mind activity. I'm able to recall Jayapadika Swami. So look at Guru Maharaj. His health is so bad every month, every alternate month, but he is actually, doing it in such a nice way, right? I also know someone very close to me who actually is going through a lot of trauma in terms of health, but I've never had a situation, but always be ready to do any kind of admin work, right? So these people are very noble, though we may not look at them and communicate this to them face to face, but deep inside, that's a feeling which we will also have, and that's the same feeling which Krishna will also have. So thanks to the noble souls. Hare Krishna. Yes, who's going to do next? Why nobody is raising the hand?
Shall I, Mataji?
Yeah, please.
Does the Supreme Hare Krishna, does the Supreme Personality of Godhead walked on the bank of the Yamuna, touching the leaves of the trees and their fruits, flowers, twigs, and praising their glorious welfare activities? Different people may accept certain welfare activities to be beneficial for human society according to their own views. But the welfare society activity that can be rendered to the people in general for eternal benefit is the spreading of the Krishna consciousness movement. Everyone should be prepared to propagate this movement as instructed by Lord Chaitanya. One should be humbler than the grass on the ground and more tolerant than the trees. The toleration of the tree is explained by Lord Krishna himself, and those who are engaged in the preaching of Krishna consciousness should learn lessons from the teachings of Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya through their direct disciplic succession. While passing through the forest of Vrindavana on the bank of Yamuna, Krishna sat down at a beautiful spot and allowed the cows to drink the cold and transparent water of the Yamuna. Being fatigued, the cowherd boys, Krishna and Balaram, also drank. After seeing the young gopis bathed in the Yamuna, Krishna passed the rest of the morning with the boys. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedant purport of the 22nd chapter of Krishna, stealing the garments of the unmarried gopi girls. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we are talking about this instruction, right? So it is the third verse of Shishtastakam, and Chaitanya has just given 8 shlokas in his entire life. That's called Shishtastakam. So it goes like this: Vinadapi suni chena tarorapi saisnuna amanina madavina kirtaniya sadari, which means that you should be humbler than the grass and actually that more tolerant than the trees. So that's a kind of an example he's talking about, and that's what we read all. And also one very important thing which we should understand here is the kind of entire setup is all about Krishna consciousness, right? And Kirtaniya Sadahari means that Kirtana means not singing. Everything is Kirtana. Talking about Krishna is Kirtan. Doing Chapa is Kirtan. So everything comes under Kirtan. According to us, Kirtan means song. But anything to do with Krishna is song, right? His name is a song, his version is a song, his look is a song, talking about him is a song, it's music, right? So that is what Kirtanaya. Japa is a song because everybody can hear. So that is what is said here, right? Engage in preaching Krishna consciousness is, from the dialect discipline succession, not our own, is supposed to be very dear to Krishna. We read that in Bhagavad Gita, and with this we'll end today because I think we have to leave the flow for the Bhagavad Gita class. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpa darupyascha kripa sindhupya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Ram. Hare Ram. Thank you so much, devotees, for tolerating, and thank you so much, Mataji, for such nice class. I know you've had a very tiring day today. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji.